So I wanted to talk about how the coronavirus could bring the end of capitalism, or at the very least, hyper-capitalism. My main argument is that the coronavirus could very well be just the beginning, as this article brilliantly points out that exotic animals are not directly the blame for coronavirus, but instead expansion is a huge blame, which is caused by intense expansion of capitalism, the cutting down of the forests, the type of capitalism happening now in South America and uh, other third world countries that are destroying a lot of the natural habitat. So the article goes on to explain that a lot of these outbreaks are caused by actually deforestation and constant expansion, ruining the wildlife. Brings us closer to these type of creatures that contain such microbes, such viruses that are released into us. So this is a great article. I would highly recommend reading it. Talks about how Ebola, Zika, and other diseases have been released through um, expansion for the demand of capitalism. And then what I also wanted to talk about is how global warming is actually releasing more diseases and possible viruses, that coronavirus may only be just the beginning. So if you believe that this coronavirus is taking a hell of a toll on the capitalist structure as we see the money structure, just imagine if we have another one and then another one. So this article explains that how the melting of the ice caps is causing old diseases to come out, like anthrax revived, Zika shifts, such viruses like zombie diseases, tick-borne illness expands, cholera on the rise. And what the article does well is talk about how a lot of these diseases that have been extinct may come back because of global warming if we don't do anything about it. And then now, to circle back to my point about the end of capitalism, I like to bring up that the U.S. Airlines are asking for $50 billion bailout. So they're the first in the long line of industries that are probably going to do this, ask for bailouts. The truth of the matter is that many people should not be traveling in the first place. The excessive traveling is in this world that causes intense amount of carbon footprint, that causes global warming, should be totally reduced. And the whole thing is the airlines just want to make money. They don't care if they cause global warming or if they allow viruses to spread. It's all for the sake of money. They'll do the same thing over again and then expect a bailout from it. And the stock market, which this market economies seems to like to put its importance to is now crashing. It's, from what I heard, is like 2,000 points um, down now or something like that, and it had its worst day since 1987. So they're pretty much saying it's worse than 2008. I mean, that sounds like a total crash if you ask me. Anyway, so the market has been unstable to begin with. The market was created only to give people the illusion that they are sharing wealth with the very wealthy, and that was what it's made for. It's not how we should base our economy, and it's bound to crash just with any type of virus or pandemic or natural disaster situation may happen. It's not meant to be stable in such cases. So one solution we could do is, I always say get rid of money, but people look at me like I'm crazy. We want to hold on to this illusion thing that we call money. I think society could thrive if we just get rid of the idea of money altogether. But for starters, I think it might be a good idea to start with redefining the GDP to help save the planet, as this article puts. And it makes point that instead of growth, our hypercapitalism is based on never-ending growth, pretty much unlimited growth, as Greta Thunberg put it, which is an illusion. The Earth cannot sustain itself with unlimited growth. It's a system that makes no sense. So instead, we should concentrate on the quality of life instead of the quantity of product. And New Zealand became the first nation to formally drop gross domestic product. And they, instead of concentrating on how much they produce, they're concentrating on mental health, child well-being, the inequalities of indigenous people, building a nation adapted to the digital age, and fashioning a low-emission economy. So pretty basic, a little 5-step economy that could help, reduce the crazy unlimited growth idea that we have right now, because things will only get worse if we don't stop and change the way our whole system is built. And that's that.